A family says they are ready to take legal action against CMS tonight after they say a vice principal attacked their child at school.
And this alleged incident happened back in October at Renaissance West STEAM Academy, but the family says now months later, they aren't getting the answers they're looking for. WCNC Charlotte's Jesse Pierre is live tonight in West Charlotte. Jesse, what are they asking for specifically here?
Well, the family says that the dispute was over headphones, and what they saw on security school video and what happened to 13-year-old Carter Bolton was just disturbing. And months later, they are still waiting for accountability.
As a parent, I was just devastated to watch him be manhandled like that, especially over something so small.
Ashley Bolton says in October, her son Carter was asked to remove headphones from around his neck by a teacher. He said he didn't want to because he didn't want them confiscated. That's when Vice Principal Sanders Fairley was called in. There was an exchange of words, and then the family's attorney says school security video shows Fairley grab Carter, attempt to punch him, then throw him to the ground.
Mr. Fairley takes two hands on the back of this child's shoulders and slams him into the concrete floor of the school face first.
Carter's family says this sent him to the emergency room.
He has corneal abrasions, one on each eye, and he has a acute and traumatic brain injury. He also suffered a large contusion on his head.
The knot was huge.
Welcome to the video, everyone. This is Justin Paul. This is definitely news or things that you never want to happen to your child. So apparently a vice principal at a school there in Charlotte, Mecklenburg County had a physical altercation with this young man because he was being told to remove some headphones from around his neck. And then the verbal altercation ensued, and from there it became physical. And from what I understand from listening to the clip, it's all on video, but it doesn't seem like Charlotte Mecklenburg Schools wants to release that video. So they may be trying to protect the vice principal, but the family has an attorney, so I'm not sure, how, this is going to play out. I definitely think it should definitely go to law, like a lawsuit, litigation. And, I definitely would like to see that video. But yeah, the kid, suffered, several injuries, had to go to the emergency room. And, this type of thing, man, it can be, very traumatizing to a young man coming up to where, he won't really, even if he wasn't showing respect at the time to, an administrator, and I'm sure y'all have a policy to where, the kid can either, be suspended or a parent can be called, anything other than, actually putting your hands on children, because, that used to go back in the day, maybe in the early 90s, but nowadays that type of stuff just doesn't fly. And, I would rather be called as a parent versus the administrator taking into their own hands to, physically put their hands on my child, because I can come and either get the headphones out of the possession of the kid, or, talk to the kid and, try to mitigate it and make sure we come to a resolution right then and there. But definitely horrible, man. Looks like it's gonna be, a lawsuit, man, especially if what shows on that video is everything that they're describing that actually happened. So,
And his face was all red, and he was just hysterical.
Bolton was told her son was suspended for 3 days and that he had to be restrained for being verbally aggressive and violating the code of conduct. She asked the school for a safety plan, violating the code of conduct.
let's see if we can read this here. So, a student was asked by BMT to take his headphones off and put them away. Student disregarded the request and walked off. When approached by Mr. Fairley, he replied that he did not have any headphones, which were clearly around his neck, zipped up in his hoodie. The student was told to go to my office. As we proceeded, he became more upset and started talking to me aggressively. He also turned around and got in my face with his fist balled twice in a threatening fashion. After the second time, the student had to be restrained. So um, that's the um, that's the account from the school. Looks like he was suspended for 3 days, and looks like this happened back in October 2025. So this has been going on for several months, and we just now, well, I'm just now catching wind of this whole situation here. So yeah, definitely a wild little case that's going on there.
Verbally aggressive and violating the code of conduct. She asked the school for a safety plan for when her son returned to school. She says what she received was not adequate. She says she was left with no other choice but to switch him to another school.
It saddens me because it just makes you feel that your child isn't safe.
Months later, Carter still shaken.
I'm feeling better from when it happened, but it still puts you down, make you think about it, because if he'll do it to me, he'll do it to anybody else kid.
Yeah, that's a fact. You know, again, it's kind of like a fine line that has to be walked here in this whole situation. For one, we need to see the video because the video is gonna tell everything, and you know, it seems like it just really got out of hand, and more likely could have been resolved a different type of way. But I always think in these instances, in the heat of the moment, people are not thinking about alternatives and stuff. They just only handle it the way that it's being handled in that situation. And I got another clip here.
Now to this tonight, WCNC Charlotte's Nate Morabito has tried to get a copy of the video in question since November after becoming aware of the allegations in the case. But CMS has refused to turn any footage over. So Nate, let's bring you in. What is the specific reason the district is withholding the video? And the bigger question is, can the district even legally do this?
Colin, it really depends who you ask here. CMS tells us the district considers the video protected student records. However, in the last 2 hours, a media attorney told me he can't think of any legal basis that supports the school system's stance. The school system cited federal and state laws in its denial of our public records request back in November, but we didn't stop our quest for answers there, knowing this video would be critical to determining the truth. In early December, the boy's mother signed a privacy waiver. That waiver authorized CMS to release the footage of her son to me. We emailed that waiver to the district on December 2nd. CMS has not responded to any email or call since. The North Carolina Press Association's general counsel told me he's struggling to understand how CMS can legally withhold the video.
Other reasons other than not wanting the video out there because of what it shows are escaping me. If it vindicates the administrator who's ever the accused, then by all means, let that happen.
Mike Toddy says it's one thing if the video in question is used as proof to discipline a student, but since the mom signed a release and handed it over to us, he says that doesn't hold water in this case. The family's attorneys, meanwhile, told us the district won't even turn over the video to them. The reason? The faces of a couple of additional students can be seen in that footage.
I don't feel like that's a good reason because now with the advancement of video editing software, those students' faces can be blurred out, which also runs the risk of certain parts of the incident being cut out. But maybe if there's like someone that's in the a mediator or an intermediate in the middle could go in and edit the video to blur out the others' faces, but to keep the full video intact. I feel like this is going to turn into a real ugly lawsuit, especially since the family has already you know retained a lawyer in this situation, and we'll just have to see really what becomes of this. Like It's been going on since October and November. The news here was requesting for the video to be released, and we'll just have to see really what becomes of this, man. This sounds like a real big mess over something as small as headphones. But I'm gonna go ahead and close out until we get more information. If you like my content, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. This is Justin Paul. Peace.